Good morning, my loves. And yes, I have a cold. It is a nice Saturday. The temps lately here, it's in the 30s and 40s in the morning and in the 80s, 70s and 80s in the afternoon. Everybody at work has had a cold and they have been kind enough to share it with me. So please pardon how I sound, but this is so important. I'm not going to let a cold stop me. As you know, a couple of weeks ago, we brought Autumn Taylor home, and thank you, everybody who worked toward this, who prayed for the family. Thank you. We have another missing child. Seneca Todd is missing in Skiatook, Oklahoma. And for the last day or two, I have been talking with Mary Jo Ross. Now, Mary Jo Ross, I love. She's part of the team. You know, she's a child advocate. She does everything she can to get kids that are being trafficked home. We got to find them. We got to bring them home. So she's one of my go-tos. Mary Jo is phenomenal. And of course, you know, she's working with Kevin Metcalf and with Zach Neef, and we're all doing everything we can to bring this child home. And I just wanted to highlight some things that people may not be aware of. Now, you might be, but you might not be. So when kids go missing, many times police will just assume that they're a runaway when they're not. There's a difference between running away and being trafficked. If a parent or the police can get access to their cell phone, to their computer, we can start finding out what's really going on. Were they being groomed? Did somebody find the child online and say, okay, we want them? They will tell the child everything that child ever wants to hear. Now, they're going to play on what's going on in the family dynamic. So if mom or dad are upset with the child because of grades at school, you know, they're not turning in homework, you're cutting classes, you know, wrong friends or whatever, the groomer, oh, they understand. They're your child's new best friend. They're going to, sorry, I'm about to sneeze. They're going to tell your child everything your child wants to hear. They're going to tell them how handsome they are, how beautiful they are, how smart they are, how no one understands them except them, how no one loves them except them. Their goal is to essentially brainwash your child and to convince your child to meet up with them so that they can take your child. Now, when a child runs away, they generally run away to a friend's house. They don't run away with strangers to another country to be sold. These kids are naive. They have strangers telling them how beautiful and handsome they are and how smart they are and, you know, how they love them and they're going to give them this beautiful life. Maybe they're promising to make them a star. You know, they have connections in Hollywood or in Nashville. You know, maybe they sing. They're going to tell them whatever they're going to tell them. Yes, I'm doing laundry. That is my washer that you hear in the background. So they're going to tell the child everything that child wants to hear so that they can gain access to that child. They are going to have the child give them details of the family. Who's home during the day? Who's home at night? What time mom and dad leave for work? What time the child goes to school? What time they're expected home? So that that trafficker, that's, I was going to say slime ball, the groomer, can gain access to that child without adults being around and take them. They may have them, you know, cut school at lunch and meet them at McDonald's or at the convenience store, on the way to school, on the way home. If mom and dad are going out to a holiday party, perfect, they'll just come by the house. Yeah, they're going to come by the house and take your child. The kids don't understand that. And you would try and tell them, and no, you don't understand. Yeah, honey, we do. So that's how it starts. That's why it's so important for parents to know who your child is talking to, who your child is texting. Does your child know this person from school? Because your kid's gonna lie to you, I'm sorry. They're gonna say, yeah, they're in my science class, they're in my history class, I met them in biology. Honey, The person you're really talking to may tell you they're 14 and they're 37 living on the coast in a trailer. Yeah, they're going to lie to your kid. They're going to show them pictures of somebody else and pretend that it's them. That's how the game works. Let's stay one step ahead. Please, if you have kids, if you have grandkids, if you're an aunt, an uncle, I want you to talk to your kids. I want you to gain access to their phone and their computer. I want you to know who they're talking to. If that means you have to meet the person, that you FaceTime the person and you meet them, that's what you're going to do, because we're protecting the life of your child. Once the child goes missing, and we're going to use Seneca as an example. Seneca is in Oklahoma. And Oklahoma is kind of a central location. So Seneca, hang on, I got to get a sip of tea. I'm sorry. Oh, I hate having a cold. So Seneca could end up going to New Orleans, being shipped, literally stuck in the back of a car, drugged, and transported to Louisiana, Florida. She could end up going to Dallas, Houston area, somewhere in Texas, Phoenix, LA, Mexico, because the goal of a lot of traffickers is to get them out of the country as quickly as possible. Your child doesn't need a passport. They're not doing it the legal way. They're smuggling them. They are trafficking them out. They will drug your child, stick them in the trunk of a car, stick them in the back of a semi. They don't care. They don't care if your child lives or dies. Your child becomes a commodity. Once your child is in the hands of the trafficker, once they have met with that groomer, your child is no longer their love interest, their special friend. Your child is a commodity. Your child is to be bought and sold. Your child may be used to traffic drugs, guns, sex. If things don't work out and your child is putting up too big a battle, your child isn't selling, your child isn't cooperative, with the pimps, your child can be killed and their organs sold, because that is a huge market, is black market organs, children's organs. I know this is graphic, I know this sounds horrific, but it's true, and you need to hear it. Now, if you tell your kids this, they're not going to believe it. They're going to think it's like a movie of the week. Oh, that's neat and cool, and I'll punch them, and I'll fight them, and... No, honey. They're going to beat the holy hell out of you and drug you. And if that means they drug you so that 5 different guys can gang rape you, they don't care. They're in it for the money. They don't care if you like it, if it hurts, if you get an infection, if you get pregnant, if you get hurt, if your pelvis gets broken, if your legs get broken, if your jaw gets broken from the beatings. They're not going to take you to the hospital. They don't care. You're a commodity. You're expendable. This is what Seneca may be going through. I'm not saying she is. I'm just saying it's possible. There are individuals, the traffickers, once the groomer does their job and gets access to the child, they turn the child over to the trafficker, the pimps, the people that are buying and selling the kids. They may hold the kid in a stash house with other kids. One of the goals is to get them hooked on drugs so that they can control them. If they can get your child hooked on crack, on coke, well, then they need that drug. And the only way they're going to get that drug is if they cooperate with the bad guys. It's all about control and manipulation. Your child may beg and plead to talk to mom and dad and grandma, and yeah, they'll lie. They will have, they'll dial a phone and hand it to your child and pretend it's a bad connection. And your child's going to be begging to come home, and whoever's on the other end is going to say, no, we don't want you now, or everything's fine. They're going to lie to them. It's just to shut the child up. But they're going to manipulate your child to get as much out of that commodity as they can. That's all they want. They may hold, like I said, they may have the child at a stash house. Many times it's not a house, it's a motel. It could be anything from a Red Roof Inn, Motel 6, Days Inn, you know, the little quaint places that you see along the road that have, you know, 10 or 12 different rooms and always have cars parked in front. And it's a very shabby kind of place you wouldn't want to go. Well, in all likelihood, they're involved in drugs, alcohol, prostitution, and sex trafficking. I'm not saying they are, but they probably are. The traffickers will share the money, the proceeds, with the manager of the motel, with the staff. They know nothing, they see nothing. They get $200 or $300 on a regular basis to turn their head. Blind-eyed, they know nothing. The police show up, we don't know what you're talking about. Nope, just a nice little couple down there on their honeymoon. No. Unfortunately, once in a while, not often, but sometimes, there are police involved that are dirty cops that know about this. They're on the take. And, you know, I have close friends that I absolutely love to the moon and back that are law enforcement. I have friends that are with, well, Kevin Metcalf is with the Attorney General's office in Oklahoma. Kevin's all over this. I have friends such as Zach, who's with Homeland Security. I know some people, and that's who we call in. And they're going to find out who's involved, who's turning a blind eye, who's on the take. That's aiding and abetting kidnapping. So people, you might want to rethink your logic if you're involved in a stash house, if you're involved in a motel that's housing children that are, you're being told they're runaways, but they're stolen kids. They're trafficked. Kids that are being prostituted. Aiding and abetting is a felony, and you will do prison time. It's not, oh no, slap on the wrist. No. We're getting Homeland Security involved. Yeah. I want kids such as Seneca home for Christmas. Someone out there, someone that may see this video, may know where she is. If you know where she is, I want you to call 911. I want you to, share that you know with, if you're a child, if your kids think they know who she is, and they tell you, do not go after her yourself. Don't do that. I don't want you hurt. And traffickers, they'll kill you. They don't care who you are. You're just in their way of them making money. Call 911. Call the Center for Missing Children. Call the attorney, call Kevin Metcalf at the Attorney General's office. Just start making calls. We got to bring these kids home. To some people, kids are a commodity. To traffickers, people want to buy and sell young children for pornography, child sexual assault material, child sexual exploitation material. The more horrific and graphic the videos can be, the more money they're worth. So they are going to torture and abuse kids to make money. They don't care about the outcome for the child. They're in it for the profit. If your child is really, really attractive and they can get them to Florida, they can get them to LA, fine. They will sell them too, because sometimes the celebrities and politicians and such, kind of the Jeff Epstein story, they have parties and they want the really pretty, attractive kids, and they're just prostitutes, so male and female. And that's all it is. These kids are being told, oh, we're going to give you money and clothes, and you're going to have all this cool stuff. No, honey, that's not how it works. You're going to go, you're going to do this, and if you don't, they're going to beat the hell out of you and drug you, and you're going to do it anyway. So let's bring these kids home. If you know something, say something, because apathy is not an option. If you know of a stash house where they're hiding kids, a motel, a hotel where they're hiding kids. Anyone who is aiding and abetting the kidnapping of children, the trafficking of children, the smuggling of children, prostitution of children, organ trafficking of children. I want you to make a call. I want you to make a call. If you're in an area and 911 is not responsive to you, go online and look at Homeland Security. Look at, what is it? Gosh, I cannot think right now. The Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They will help you. Don't let, yeah, we don't do that. That's not, don't take that for an answer. Yeah, we'll pass that along. Don't take that for an answer. You keep going up the food chain till you get somebody that will listen. Call the Attorney General's office in your state. I don't care who you call. You can call God. You can call Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, and the Tooth Fairy. I don't care who you call. If you know something, say something. If you know something, you can always send me a DM and tell me what you know, and let's see what we can make happen. There are too many people that know things that they don't care. I was talking to Mary Jo this morning, and the police involved don't care. That's a runaway. Yeah, well, we really don't have a lot to go on. Well, have you asked questions? Have you tried? Because so many times they just, it's a kid that ran away. This kid that ran away is somebody's child, somebody's grandchild, their niece, their nephew, their best friend, their next door neighbor, their classmate. They deserve to be found. Nobody deserves to be tortured, abused, and killed. Let's bring them back. It has to be a team effort, and congratulations, you're now part of that team. Apathy is not an option. Turning a blind eye is not an option. Not caring because it's not your child is not an option. Not caring because you don't respect that race, that religion, that culture. How fucking dare you? That's a child. I'm sorry. A child does not choose what color skin to have, what culture to be born into, what religion to be born into. It's a child. Everybody, get up off your ass and let's bring these kids home. I'm sorry for the foul language and my attitude, but I deal with this. Some grandmas knit, some grandmas bake cookies, and I am a hell of a cookie baker. I help when I'm not working, I help people find missing kids. That's what this grandma does. Let's bring her home. Seneca, if you see this, we're trying to find your baby. We'll find it. We'll get there. We'll find you. Keep praying. Sit tight. We're coming.